Hello all. So I know my channel is mostly just for fun. I mostly just post movie reviews, but every now and then I do want to talk about something important, and this is important, so I do want to talk about it. It's kind of hard for me to describe, though. If you've never heard of this before, it's kind of hard for you to wrap your mind around. So I'm going to try my best. Have you ever seen the movie Fight Club? Okay, in the movie Fight Club, there's this terrorist organization that forms that goes out and blows up buildings, picks fights, tries to just cause mass anarchy, and wants to bring the entire government system down. Now, this terrorist organization is composed of only straight white dudes in kind of middle-class working environments. All straight white dudes, about my age. Now, the reason why this terrorist organization forms, and the reason why it's only of straight white dudes, is because these guys watched a lot of television and they figured that because they were straight white dudes, they should have all ended up rich and famous and like rock stars. But they didn't. They lived regular lives and had regular things happen to them. They didn't live bad lives. They lived regular lives. But they figured they were owed famous, riches, being rock stars, being celebrities, being astronauts. They figured because they were white dudes, because of their race, because of their gender, they were owed that. And when they didn't get it, they decided to try and take the system down. Now that sounds like a pretty ridiculous concept for why a terrorist organization would form, but here's the rub. They're real. They are a real physical thing. The internet term for them has been coined as the manosphere, and it's basically this massive collection of different groups online, such as MRAs, incels, men going their own way, and a whole bunch of other random names. All these groups literally do the exact same thing. They're all about the exact same thing, and they all have the same speeches and all have the same rhetoric. They're all composed of mostly straight white guys, mostly, and they all just hate everybody else. Everybody else. Now, unlike the Fight Club from the movie who tried to take down the government, these guys, they want to pick on people that they see as weaker than them. Because some of them are fully aware that they're privileged bastards. So they pick on women. And they pick on people that are queer. And they pick on different races. And they literally pick on everybody. And they have done some horrendous things. One of the worst groups, and that's a real accomplishment, is called Return of Kings. And it's ran by this dude called Roosh V. Now they're planning to have this meeting this Saturday, February the 6th, literally all over the world at about 8 o'clock. One's happening in Ottawa, in Canada, a whole bunch are happening in the US. And there's other ones happening all over the world, Australia, every country you could think of. If you're close by to where this meeting happens, you're supposed to say to one of the people who's going to be at the meeting, "Do you know where the pet shop is?" And that person will respond, "It's right here." And then they'll lead you to where the meetup is. Now, they've actually publicized where the meetups are. They're not the most clever bunch. But they have changed some of the locations. Now, some politicians and groups have spoken out against this, but not nearly enough people, which is why I'm making this video, because a lot of people aren't even aware. Roosh V, the guy who runs this group, is literally a guy that has become rich off of books that he's written about his sex life. And I use the quotations because it's not really a sex life. It's stories about him getting women drunk and then sleeping with them without their consent. They're rape manuals, and he sells them and gets rich off of them. The Return of the King's website has written article after article after article describing in massive detail why women and other races that aren't white and queer people don't count as human beings. Massive arguments for why they're not human. They literally made a post. Roosh V made like a a massive essay about why rape should be legalized if it's on private property. He made this huge essay. And it never even occurred to him for a moment that it could result in men being raped. Because in their minds, men can't be raped. So he made this huge argument for why women should be raped. Huge. And his followers gobbled it up. Whenever a guy gets a gun and kills several people, these guys complain about the person not killing more. Some of the people in these groups, and one guy from an incel group, for example, did get a gun and kill several people. And the people complain that he didn't kill nearly enough. These guys are dangerous. And I can't emphasize how dangerous they are. Every now and then, one of them gets a gun and starts shooting. And the ones that don't shoot brag about how they're going to get away with rape. Or they state over and over again, women just make up rape stories. I got framed. Ah! They are so dangerous, I can't even stress it. I can't stress it enough. And these meetings are really one of the first of them meeting offline. Now you might be saying, if they never meet in real life, how can they be dangerous? Well, they hack people's online accounts. They do online harassment campaigns. They do countless different things. There's a reason why a lot of feminist videos, their comment sections are blocked off. They're the reason. They're the literal reason. They literally stalk people and turn people into monsters so they can attack them some more. They do harassment campaigns. They've been doing a harassment campaign on Anina Sarkeesian, who's a relatively big name feminist, for years now. They're never going to stop. They don't know how to. These meetings, though, are a big step for them. They're their first actual meetings of them actually getting together and talking and intermingling. So there's basically three things that can result from these meetings. Number one, feminists are going to protest them, and they're going to pull out a little camera and videotape it, and then claim that they're the real victims and have themselves a cry, which is going to be unbelievably sad. Number two, nothing's going to happen. Then they're going to get away with their little meetings, and they're going to be emboldened and think they can get away with anything. And then eventually some of them are going to kill people because that's what they talk about, killing people. Or number three, cops will actually do their job and arrest some of these guys because this is breaking the law. They have made massive statements of how they're going to rape countless women. These are acts of terrorism. They are using terror to get what they want. They want to scare people into silence. People make videos against these guys, and they do harassment campaigns to try and take the videos down. These guys are terrorists. They're not very skilled terrorists. They don't really know what they're doing a lot of the time, but they're still that. You could argue they're in training, but they're still in training. So all I can say is, if you're in one of the areas, you might want to think about getting out or calling the cops, especially if you're a woman or you're a different race or you're queer, because they are fully aware of their privilege. They are fully aware they can step down on you and try to crush you. They are that bright. They aren't very bright, but they're that bright. Sorry if I accidentally been ableist there. It's hard to put my words into proper emotions to describe just how horrible these guys are. But yeah, if you're aware of where they're meeting up, call the cops. If somebody asks you where a pet shop is, punch their lights out. And make people aware. I'm going to post some links to some petitions against these guys in the description section for this video. Sign all of them if you have the time. You should have the time. It's easy to sign a petition, but just sign all of them. These guys have literally written essays, literal essays on why women and other people, other races and other sexualities should not be considered human. They've written entire essays after essays after essays after essays, and they don't see queer people or women or other races as people anymore. They see them as green-haired, violent, evil feminists that need to be stopped. And because they don't see us like humans, there's no telling how they will respond to us or what they could do to somebody. I've been doing a review series on Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the movie series, and I keep staying in that Leatherface is scary because he has no concept of what humanity is. And these guys don't either. Roosh V is a mid-rapist, and he should go to prison for the rest of his days. So sign the petitions I post, and be aware, I'm going to even post a page from his site listing some locations. So if you're in the areas, just be aware. These guys are dangerous. They are the definition of dangerous. And so far, nobody takes them seriously enough because they are white, because they are guys. But dude, we gotta start actually holding them accountable, or else they'll just keep being bolded and keep doing what they're doing, and their crimes are escalating. It is escalating, and eventually it's going to blow. And when it does, you just better pray to God you're way the crap away. So yeah, I'm going to post some links, sign it, make yourself aware, and if you're in those areas, be warned, these creeps are actually meeting up to talk about how awesome they are and about how they should get away with rape. And I'm being definitely serious when I say that. So keep in mind and be aware.